All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Mix, presented by the Local Fix Foundation. The Mix podcast, I guess I should say, in case you didn't realize you were listening to a podcast. I am your host, Matt. With me today is Local Fix Foundation President Will and our special guest, Dina Haffner from Kinetric Wellness.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody. And, of course, as usual, we are at a shared universe with Ming sitting across the table from us. Hello, Ming. Broadcasting us, making us sound good. I say it every time I'm here. Favorite place to podcast. Like, it's just...
Wouldn't do it anywhere else.
Exactly. I mean, we podcasted everywhere, but this is by far the best place. So it gets fun. So yeah. Usual routine here. Nothing special to really talk about. We just want to highlight our guest, Dina, talk about Rocktoberfest today, which we are right in the middle of. We've got, 2 more weeks left, I think, on Rocktoberfest food drive?
Yeah, we have until November 15th to donate food.
Yep. So we'll get into all that today. But first, let's start with our guest, Dina. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Me. Very excited to have you here. So just, tell us about yourself. Tell us about Kinetric Wellness. What brought you here today? Aside from me bothering you.
Yeah, right. You asking me brought me here today. But I'm Dina from Kinetric Wellness. I am a massage therapist. I have been doing massage therapy for about 10 years and decided to open up my own practice locally. Yes, that's fresh.
Try to keep it a little off mic, but whatever.
So I have my own space right here in Ocean where I work on people doing, deep tissue, stretching, cupping therapy. I also teach couples how to work on each other and developing an online space for that soon. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here.
That's awesome. So I want to talk about the couples working on each other because we were just chatting about that before we started. And I get massages all the time. I've never come to your business, but now I'm going to. And I've done the couples massage thing, like where we both go and get massages. But what you're talking about is actually something different, right? It's actually couples teaching couples how to do it for one another, right?
Right.
That's so fascinating. Talk about that a little bit.
So I'd heard of this concept before, but I really didn't. It didn't click for me until my wife was in a car accident many years ago, and I would work on her as well as her getting acupuncture and chiropractic and physical therapy. And in working on her, I thought to myself how wonderful it would be for people to have these tools to kind of help each other. And how many times have you sat next to your partner at some point and said, "Oh, can you rub my shoulders?" Or can
and
you
it's
step on my
always
back?
like the worst massage ever. It's like it lasts like 60 seconds. It usually ends in sex very quickly, and you're like, no, but I actually want a massage.
But I really want a massage.
But I actually want you to rub my body.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh my God. I can so relate. My wife is always like, can you, she's like, just give me a massage. I'm like, but I'm terrible at it. She goes, I don't care. I'm like, but I can't do it right. And then she's like, no, you're doing it too hard. You're doing it too soft. And I'm like, well, if you want me to, don't complain.
Yeah.
So clearly I need to come talk to you.
Go to a professional.
That's what I say. Right. I'm like, I'll pay for you. If you don't want to go, I'll pay for you to go.
Or pretty soon you'll be able to, buy the course online and you guys can take it together.
Are you gonna start selling it online? Okay.
Yeah, so November 22nd, that's when I'm launching it in a virtual space. And the biggest thing is that I'm teaching people one-on-one. The class is about 2 hours long, which seems a little bit long for people to just kind of commit to that. And to be honest with you, like while I'm working with these people, I can kind of see where they're over it a little bit and they just want to be together.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you're in my space and you kind of can't, you paid for the whole 2 hours and I'm not going to leave my space so you guys can do whatever. So this is where it's kind of awkward. And it brought the idea of me, bringing it to a virtual space so that people can go in and kind of like hit pause and then do whatever they want to do, come back to the course whenever
also
they
watch
want
it, watch it again.
Yeah, rewatch it. Because immediately after they've taken the class, they'll message me and be like, what's this, move?
So basically it's like, don't eat any oysters before going into this class is what.
It'll be real weird.
Yeah.
Now, do you do the class, or will you do the class, I should say? Is it going to be like just one-on-one, one couple at a time, or is there an option to do like group things, like lots of couples coming in at one time? How's it going to work?
So for me, teaching people in person, it's always just one couple at a time.
Okay.
I would like to offer in a bigger space after maybe COVID
Yeah.
times, or maybe after the winter, we can kind of do this large workshop where multiple things can be going on. You can learn dance with your partner. You can learn, how to massage your partner. Just the biggest thing for me is the connection, because a lot of people got stuck together after COVID, and then they realized they didn't want to be stuck together after COVID, or they had to learn new ways to connect with each other, because then they were just kind of getting into business mode, trying to figure out what to do with what was going on in the world, and kind of missing that connection with each other.
Yeah.
And I think couples in general just need some time to really commit to, and then what do we do to kind of connect?
It's
when
work.
my wife and I do it, it's really great. Like when we commit to like 10 minutes a day doing it, it changes everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, why wouldn't I want to bring this to other people?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, is your wife trained the same way that you are, or are you
No.
showing her the ropes?
No, she's definitely not. She is intuitive, though, which
Yeah.
is great. And she has a concept of anatomy because she was interested in that. But I think in general, there are couples who are really good at it, and then other people who really are terrible at it. Either way, this is just going to be the most approachable course.
Right.
I start with like you just teaching each other how to work, how to stretch each other, and how to do things on your own. So like using a tennis ball, or before you get out of bed, instead of hitting the snooze button, just do this like 7-minute exercise that's actually going to wake you up more
Yeah.
than hitting the snooze button. So how awesome is it that you're by your partner, you guys can just do that together, instead of like, oh, let me hit the snooze button 2 or 3 more times and then rush out of the house.
Oh, yeah.
And not, have that time that you would like to have before you start your day.
Oh, it drives my wife insane, because I'm like, when the alarm goes off, I'm up and I'm like out of bed and I'm doing whatever I gotta do. Usually I do some like yoga in the morning or whatever. My wife is snooze, 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 snooze,
Yeah.
and she gets mad at me because I'll get up and we have like the room darkening shades. I rip the shades open, if it's a sunny day, the sun's coming. She like pulls the blanket overhead. She gets so mad at me. I'm like, get your ass out of bed, like
Do it.
let's, just
Yeah,
like
I'll never understand the 10 alarm thing. Like,
no. What's the
Yeah.
You
point?
set the alarm, wake
Get
up
it-
when you
get up.
set the alarm.
Like, like people that's like, I have to wake up at 7. They'll set it at 6:30, and then 6:35, and 6:40. I think there's like some satisfaction just knowing you can go back to sleep for like 5 more minutes. But
Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of time it takes to set 7 different alarms.
crazy.
It's just like
it was crazy.
So you've already been doing the couples training, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to know, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about like what do you normally see, like what are people's mindsets coming into it, and what do you kind of see what are you looking for to help not fix, but just like help show them, to help get
Yeah.
them into this thing, and what do you see as some of the things that they can learn from this, and like what are you helping them do?
The 2 biggest things are communication and accountability. The number one communication being is, you said yourself, you kind of mentioned yourself, like I'm not really good at it, but also communicating deeper pressure or lighter pressure or whatever the case is. So a lot of times you don't want to offend your partner or turn it into a fight. So you're not even telling them that they suck. So they're just doing whatever they know how to do.
Oh no, my wife will tell me, she goes, "You suck."
Yeah.
She's like, "We're done now."
So I think there's a little bit of that, just being honest, being vulnerable. Like if this is the best that you can offer your partner, then you also just kind of need to, that's it, accept the best that they can offer you,
Yeah.
and be thankful for that. And then accountability,
Bless you.
Thank you.
Accountability is huge, because you also just kind of get tired. You get a little, you give up after a long day of work, or you
Yeah.
make excuses. So you just tend to kind of forget, and then getting back to doing some sort of a routine is always so much harder. So just having your partner like, oh, my back is in pain. Oh, you should do that exercise that we learn in this class. Oh, no, it's fine. I'll just lay on the couch in a really uncomfortable spot for 2 more hours and complain longer. So those are the 2 biggest things, honestly. And I love watching people learn about each other. Like that's my favorite thing, is when a light bulb moment goes on, or they realize, I didn't know that you were hurting there. And it's like, yeah, that's what happens when you take time and communicate with each other. And
Yeah.
and kind of zone out the rest of the world.
Yeah, totally. I can totally relate to that. That's usually like my going to bed routine. The CBD rub, just
Yes.
down on your feet or whatever. You feel good going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so funny that you were talking about like the communication thing, because my wife won't hesitate to tell me if she's like, you suck at doing that. She's like, please stop. But then at the same time, I like how you were talking about like, oh, maybe you should try this, because I tell her all the time when she complains about something. I said, maybe you should try. She goes, no, I'm not gonna do it.
I just like to complain.
I like to complain.
Yeah, there's so many people like
Oh my
that.
gosh,
This is
yeah.
why I'm still in business, honestly. Like, if I tell people this exercise will help you sleep better, and they're like, yeah, that's cool, and they'll still either take medication to go to sleep, or they'll come back and be like, oh, your massage helped me so much, I'll just keep coming back for weekly massages.
Well, that's like,
fine,
you know, someone like myself who doesn't have a significant other, I have to go to Dina to get massages. I actually have been a client of Dina's for, I think, about a year now.
Yeah.
And I actually wasn't the first time that I got feedback from you. It wasn't me that got a massage from you. I had a girlfriend of mine who rolled her ankle after a concert at the Stone Pony, and she was a server, and she was in pain for a long time. I mean, she would tell me that her ankle was screwed up from that day. Like she never went to the doctor right away, and it was really messed up. And I had known Dina from doing different networking events, and I said, let me just buy a gift certificate for her. Like, it can't hurt. Why not? And she went to Dina, and like I said, in pain for an entire year, and one massage with her, she was not in pain anymore. And I was like, wow, okay, this isn't just like, she's not like your average massage therapist. There's something else to it. It's a little bit more, you know, medical.
Yeah. No, I can totally relate too, because again, haven't been to you, but I will be. But a good friend of mine, she started her own business earlier this year, where she comes to you, and she's more, I don't know the appropriate term, medically trained, I suppose, you know, because I've been to, like, you know, the Hand and Stones and places like that. It's fine, it's nice, it's relaxing.
Yeah.
But then I got my first massage from her back in April, and I was just like, mind blown. I was like, what have I been doing paying for these like other places? Like, yeah, it's a nice experience.
There's like the vacation massage, and then there's my back is in pain. I can't move my neck. I need someone to help me with this, and that is really.
And the crazy thing about it was, like, I wasn't even really in pain or anything. I just enjoyed the experience of it. But I always feel good, but I felt better coming out of it. I was like, oh, so like this is what it's actually supposed to be like. I was like, now I see why people spend all this money on it. Like, this is so perfect.
Yeah, I used to work for corporate for 3 years, and the biggest thing for me about it, in a positive sense, is that it makes it accessible for more people.
Yep.
So that's, you know, I will never take that away from that model. The issue for massage therapists is that it's really like a turn and burn kind of environment. So it's every hour on the hour you're seeing clients. You have maybe a half an hour break in between. I was seeing 8 people a day, which is so hard on your body.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
How do your hands survive?
Yeah, it's not even. It's just you just keep going through it, and then hopefully you have time to get a massage. So, but yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was that I needed time to assess people beforehand, and I needed time to talk to them about what they were doing wrong, so they can kind of fix their behavior. Because I'm not there with them every day saying, you know, sit up straight, or, you know, all this other stuff. Or you're just walking the way people sometimes walk or run. Like when I'm out watching people running, I'm like, do I go tell them that they're doing that wrong? How do I tell them that this is not good for their body? And people aren't realizing that it's cumulative. You know, it's this compounded effect of, you know, doing this for 6 years, and then your body's like, I've had enough. But people are like, well, I wasn't hurting yesterday, so I'm fine.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
I learned that lesson the hard way about just doing simple things that you don't think are, or you think you're doing it the right way, but you don't realize it.
Right.
When I turned 30, I pulled what I thought was something in my back when I was working out. And I went to a chiropractor because I was certain that my back was screwed up. I was like all lower. And the chiropractor told me, he goes, no. He goes, there's nothing wrong with your back. He goes, you're just not stretching your legs properly. He's like, this pain you're feeling is coming from the back of your legs. And I was like, no shit. I was like,
but I'm feeling it in my back.
Yeah, like my legs felt fine. He goes, yeah, no, it's actually in your legs. And he showed me that's when he introduced me to the foam roller, and he showed me the whole thing, and like how to stretch properly. I was like, oh my God, like who knew, you know?
Who would have thought?
Yeah, and it's just like you were saying, I was doing these, you know, these workout routines and stretching what I thought was correct after I was working out. He's like, no, you're doing it all wrong. I was like, okay, well, that's good to know.
Can you tell me how to do it right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk more a little bit about, so you're mentioning you're working for corporate for a few years before you, I assume, started your own business. So tell me about how you made that, tell us about how you made that transition. I've always, you know, we have a lot of, actually, I think all of the guests on our podcast have been entrepreneurs and starting their own business, and everybody's got their own story. It's always different, you know, right?
Yeah.
It's always a cool story. So I want to hear yours about how you went from that transitioning of working in that corporate environment to making the decision to do it on your own, and then how you eventually got there.
Sure. I was kind of like the lead massage therapist at this corporate place because I love teaching people and I love kind of nurturing and making sure that everyone's got, has the best environment. But I was told that was like the cap as far as what I was going to get paid. And I just thought to myself, like, this is not really the environment where I can grow as a therapist because there's no way I would have been able to learn cupping in that environment. So, and taking other classes that are constantly available. So I actually I moved. I'm originally from California, so I moved to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Where are you from in Cali?
I'm an hour east of LA.
Okay.
So I'm a Jersey girl 10 years now. So I feel like I'm officially
You're
a
one
Jersey
of us.
girl.
Yeah, you're one of us now. You're one of us now.
Yeah. But I came when I came out here, I was working in retail and thought this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be working, for doing massage. So the easiest way for me was to kind of get into that corporate job. And I dedicated 3 years of my life and I was like, man, I'm just burnt out. I was exhausted physically, mentally, emotionally.
Did you want to quit?
I wanted to quit massage altogether. I did.
It's crazy how like certain places could like, make you just want to leave a business that you actually loved in the first place,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exhausting. So I did kind of for a little bit. I was actually brewing coffee at Rook for a little while. That's how I knew Ming.
Nice.
And then I was waitressing for a while because I always thought you just should do that, like learn how to do that. And at what point am I going to learn
Interact
for the
with people.
first time?
That's never a bad thing.
It's not.
I think
a bad
everyone
thing.
should like how they do in
absolutely.
Israel. They make people join the military. Everyone should be a waitress for like a month, so you know
At
how to
least.
treat people that handle your food.
Yeah, that's right.
And you should be a waitress at a breakfast place and fine dining.
Fair enough.
Because those two environments are so different and
my
will
God.
teach you completely different lessons.
So different.
Yeah. And it was actually an old client of mine. I went, I was still kind of seeing private clients, taking my table to their houses and all of that stuff. And my client was like, I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but you should really be focused on doing this full time. And I was like, okay. So after that, I just started networking. And that's how I met people to do the business aspect of stuff, like build the website and do the business cards and the logo.
I met you at Babes in Business one day.
Yeah, Babes in Business was the first thing, and then I joined LaTip, and it just kind of has exploded since then. It kind of gave me that confidence that I have this like team of people rooting for me in the background, and if I say, "Hey guys, I'm gonna pay rent at a studio now. Can you please come see me?" and they would be there. And I was scared. I was so terrified because I'd never done anything like that before, and I wanted to so badly. And I thought maybe I'll just go work for a chiropractor, or I'll just go back to working at like a corporate place. I was like, I can't do that. I love working with people one-on-one on my terms and the way that I want to. And the best way to do that is to create the environment. So
You be your own boss.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more because for me in particular, like I was saying about, going to get massages, when you go to some of the corporate places, there's something like, I don't know, not like medical office feeling about it, but it doesn't feel always like that same. And they dim the lights, and there's some music playing, like that's cool, a little candle on the table. But it doesn't feel the same, as when you want that really soothing, relaxing environment.
It's not homey.
It's not homey, exactly, right? You want like the certain smells and the sounds.
I could tell you, without a doubt, Dina's place is homey.
Where is your business located again?
I am at 3200 Ocean, Sunset Ave, in Ocean.
Okay.
I'm in a 2-story building. I have one of the offices in there. I just moved into the space in February. I was in Asbury.
So brand new, yeah.
Brand new, and then COVID hit, so I was closed for 3 months after that.
Yep.
And I had to kind of, figure out what to do.
That's awesome. So where does the name and sorry, this is a stupid question. Where does the name Kinetric
No, it's not
Wellness
stupid
come
at all.
from?
So kinesiology is a study of movement in the muscles. And then I took the word geometric release from a modality that I learned in school. This physical therapist was teaching us how to kind of look at the body completely different. So I went to medical massage therapy school, so I already had that foundation.
Mm-hmm.
My father's also a physical therapist, so I always kind of had that, like, everybody's body is different and everybody's body reacts differently, and you have to really like look at their personal needs.
Yeah.
Instead of just kind of that turn and burn, like relaxing, fall asleep.
Does your father still practice physical therapy?
He's retired now,
Okay.
but he was like the best in his field.
Nice.
Really.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was really incredible.
Did he have a lot of impact on why you went into doing what you're doing? Or
Yeah, I mean, he would have rather me gone to school and become a doctor of physical therapy, but you know, he's definitely like rooting for me. Owning my own business, it's hard.
Yeah.
He always thought about opening his own clinic, and he never took the dive.
Owning your own business is the hardest thing you could ever do.
Me. Yeah. It is really hard. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're so cool. You're doing this all for yourself." And I'm like, "Yeah, I have 15 hats, y'all."
And they don't know. And they don't know that you wake up every week. You're like, I hope I'm making enough money to pay my bills this week.
Yeah.
They don't know because you only see. It's like that. That you know, you see that. Like, I don't know if it's a meme, but you see online. You know, you see the iceberg, and then you see like hard work, and then you see underneath. What you don't see under is the rest of the iceberg.
Yep.
Like owning your own business. Everybody, even with me and my brewery, everyone says, "Oh, it's so great. You know, you started your own brewery. It looks like you guys are doing well. I see you guys everywhere." I'm like,
it's definitely amazing.
yes, I am doing very well. I am grateful for everything, but you don't see the back end of it, how much work it took to get to where we are, and
yes.
Oh, there it is.
There's the meme.
The success. There it is. That's it. You know, the success meme. So it's just being a business owner. It's nice. Like Dina and I are in the same networking group. It's nice to be able to go and talk to other business owners that are going through the same thing, because you are kind of separated from those people that work a 9 to 5. They just it's not the same mentality.
Yep.
And it's almost like a world you don't know about it until you go into it.
Yeah.
You just don't. You can read about it, you can hear about it, but until you immerse yourself in it, you just don't know what it's like to own your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. So what, if you don't mind me asking, what brought you to New Jersey in the first place from California?
That's a great question.
Is it appropriate?
So long ago
Can we
that
talk
I don't
about it?
remember. No, we can totally talk about it.
Okay, good.
Honestly,
that's the best part of podcasting. You can talk about whatever you want.
True, yeah.
There's no FAA, not FAA.
Yeah, I don't know what the rating of this podcast. Are we PG-13? Are we R? Like, I don't know.
I'm trying really hard to be on my best behavior.
I know. It's like R rated, but like, you know, light R rated, you know?
Yeah.
So originally, I was kind of like done with California, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to tell my family, like, I don't want to be around you guys anymore. And my partner at the time had gotten accepted to Rutgers, and I was like, I am not moving to Jersey. That is ridiculous. Have fun.
The armpit of America.
Yeah, goodbye. And the funny thing is that I used to work for the Container Store, and they brought me out here to help open up a store in Cherry Hill.
Okay.
And they were like, move to Jersey. And I was like, never. I would never live in Jersey.
Container store? Like shipping containers?
No, it's like
storage containers?
Anything you can
You've
imagine.
never seen the Container Store?
You have to
no
go
idea
there.
what that is.
Anything
Bro.
you can imagine to store and organize your stuff.
So
like literally a box for everything.
It's like an OCD person's heaven. Like,
yes.
Like it's
if
kind of,
you like things neat and put away and whatever, you have to go to. I will take you there for the first time.
Yes.
Look at it.
And this is the Container Store?
I've definitely shopped.
Container Store?
I've definitely shopped at the Container Store before because I love everything. Like, I'm one of those people, especially in my kitchen, because I love to cook. Everything has its place. Everything belongs in a certain place.
Yep.
And my wife puts shit where it doesn't belong. Really, it drives me insane. It's like an OCD person's paradise.
Yeah.
It's just like, but not even OCD. It's just like everything is, you can buy a container for anything.
You save so much time and energy when everything has its own place.
Oh my God, it's so good. My pantry.
And there's so much order in the world.
Well, hell, there's a business for anything.
There really is. I can't believe you've never even heard of it.
Oh my God, it's incredible. Yeah. The Container Store is
storage,
amazing.
like closet organization. Their closet systems are incredible. They're the best closet systems I think that are out there.
That is how I can thank the Container Store.
Yeah.
For my relationship with you. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I came out here.
Yeah, so they brought you out here to open the store.
Yeah, so they brought me out here to open the store. So the seed for New Jersey was already planted, and then I went back, and then my partner was like, hey, I'm moving to Jersey, and I was like, I guess. Even though, like, in my head, I knew the relationship was, like, not really going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, this is my excuse. I'm moving to Jersey, everyone. And they're like, for what? Like, it's Jersey. You're going to go hang out with Snooki? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hang out with Snooki.
That's like you said 10 years ago. That would have been the time.
That's what everybody knew.
Oh, God, I've been battling that my entire
life. Little do they know, Snooki is from Poughkeepsie, where I went to college.
Oh, God. Everybody from that show, none of them are from Jersey. They're all from Staten Island.
So funny.
I'm like, come on. Ugh.
Yeah, but everybody did not know that.
Nobody knew at the time. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
and used to have in college. We used to throw, my fraternity used to throw Jersey Shore parties all the time. And it's like a Halloween costume. Stuff like this, but it's like a Halloween costume.
I think like my college friends running around the house screaming "Cabs are here" became like a little ritual.
Or T-shirt time.
I won't lie. I still, when the Uber gets here, I still yell out "Cabs are here." Like, I'm not gonna lie. I still do that.
Never has a show impacted more upon our culture than the Jersey Shore.
You would have been so smart to trademark that. But
I went to when my fraternity threw one of our Jersey Shore parties one year. It took me 4 showers, I think, to get the shit out of my hair that I put in there to make. Because my hair was much longer at the time. Now I'm like thinning and old or whatever.
Was it that gel that like made it as hard as a rock?
Oh, it was like all
super
shiny.
shiny.
It took me 4 showers to get that shit out of my hair.
You want to hear something horrible? I literally used to use that when I was like a teenager.
Just because
when I used to do the little flip in the front, the little flip, and I actually had the flip in the front, and then just the flip was bleached.
We're gonna need that picture.
Wait, are you talking about frosted tips or just
no? Like just the entire front was bleached, and the rest of my hair was like jet black. Like you don't want to see that.
I remember in high school, everybody had. I knew so many guys that had the frosted tips. You know,
yeah. Eminem made it cool. Like everybody wanted to be Marshall Mathers. You know,
right? Oh my god, that was amazing.
We could go to the '90s.
The good old
but we digress.
The good old days. So it brought you to New Jersey.
Yeah, so I came to New Jersey. And funny enough, actually, after Hurricane Sandy hit, I moved back to California.
Really?
Yeah, I was not in like a great place.
You like the earthquakes and the mudslides better?
Yeah, I was like, forget hurricanes. This is crazy. Nobody knows what they're doing. And the biggest thing for me was like the group that I was around at the time, like wasn't really in that like that giving back, place. So I was like, my gosh, I didn't have a car, so I was like talking to my friend at the time, and I had no power, and I stayed at her and her parents' house, and she had a car, and I stayed up all night like watching the news the night that everything hit. And
isn't today the anniversary of Sandy?
It is.
Today is?
I'm not sure about the specific
day,
this
but
week.
This week was.
This week
was.
for sure,
Yeah, I don't know today, but this week was.
Yeah, this year,
Yeah, so I was like, hey, can we like get in your car and like go and just donate a bunch of food? Like Meals on Wheels isn't getting to all these people. And she was like, somebody's out there that's going to do that. And I was like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't like these people.
It's always somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else will take care of it. So I just left. I actually had a round trip flight for a wedding in October. And I was like, I am going, or whatever it was. And I was like, I'm going to just change it to a one-way. Like, that's how I made the decision.
Yep.
And then I did that. And then before I moved back, I actually fell in love with my now wife. And I was like, listen, I'm still moving back to California. I have to do this for whatever reason. All the things kind of panned out for me to do that. So I moved back for only 9 months, and then I came back. So I came to visit her in Asbury Park, and I fell in love with Asbury.
Asbury's so dope.
I had never been there before, and I was like, where has this magical place been this whole time?
Asbury Park just developed its own identity and just became its own place.
For anybody who doesn't live in Asbury, it really sucks. Don't move here.
Yeah, exactly. I tell that to people all the time. I say,
we don't want the home prices to go up even more. Stay away from us.
Barely stand
only visit in the summer and then go home. Don't buy property.
Yeah, man. I tell it to people all the time because I've been all up and down, especially like the Eastern Seaboard. I've been all up and down to every state up and down the Eastern Seaboard. I've been to all the towns, the locales, the whatever, In my opinion, and this might be controversial to some of our listeners, all 10 of them or whatever, the only town I've been to, the only place I've been to in this country that even kind of compares to like the coolness, like, that's not a word, but like the vibe that you get from Asbury Park is Austin, Texas. And Asbury,
I've never been there, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's very similar, very weird, very cool, very different. But Asbury Park for me, like there's no other place in the entire country just quite like it. Like
You're really not helping us keep people away from here.
That's okay. We don't
the Jonas Brothers put a nail in the coffin on that. Yeah, I mean, once they play,
we don't have a big listener base yet, so it's only our 4th episode, so we'll be okay.
All right.
When people go back into the archives later on, we're at our 100th episode, then we'll have to. But no, Asbury Park sucks. Don't move here. Don't move here. Yeah, don't do it. Well, that's awesome. We're very excited to have you here, obviously.
Happy to be here.
So, talking, you mentioned something interesting about, like, the giving back and the who's doing what. So let's talk about the other half of the podcast tonight, Rocktoberfest. We are in the midst of Rocktoberfest. It's been going on for pretty much exactly a month right now. We got about 2 weeks left. We have food donation boxes from our partner Fulfill New Jersey, all across Monmouth and Ocean County right now. I think we have like 12 or 13 different locations right now. We're up there pretty high. Boxes are filling up. I'm very excited. You are one of our partners, so again, thank you for a part of that. The other thing I'm excited to talk about is, I'm not drinking the Rocktoberfest beer. I'm drinking the Oktoberfest beer. Yeah, it's absolutely. You know what though? Okay, so
and the label is upside down. And that is for a reason.
So Rocktoberfest, because of Rocktoberfest, I cannot physically say Oktoberfest
I know.
anymore.
Yeah,
I keep
I-
on
People
saying
say people say
Oktoberfest.
Rocktoberfest,
Yeah.
Oktoberfest. It's like all messed up.
I can't get it right, but anyway. So this, I guess it was about a week ago now. Twin Lights released their Oktoberfest
Yeah,
beer.
we came out with it last Friday was when it was released.
And
yeah, Rocktoberfest.
It's delicious.
Dina, how was it?
Thank
I'm
you.
drinking the other
It's
one. How
so
was it good?
good.
Yeah, it was a really cool beer. We went to the Fur Farm in Colts which is probably been a family-owned business for a long time. They grow like Christmas trees. Like, you can go there and pick your own Christmas tree and chop it down.
Yeah.
They started growing hops about I don't know how many years ago, but I think it's at least 5 or 6 years. It actually takes, people don't realize, if you want to grow hops, you will not get a usable yield off those hops for at least 3 or 4 years.
Really?
wow.
It takes that long to grow
Yeah,
hops?
because they're they come back every year, so it's kind of like similar to like almost like how grapes take a very long time if they transplant them to actually start growing usable fruit. It's the same thing with hops. So I actually remember going there 2 years ago. We went with every year they have a hop harvest where they have the public come and pick the hops, and it was really
Wow.
fun. They brew their own beer, they have their own home brew. They had a band. I think we were there with Dark City and Jug Handle, like hanging out picking hops. And this year obviously was a little different because of COVID, but we still went there and picked some fresh hops and made a fresh beer with the local hops. And
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are you going
it
back
was
there
fun.
anytime
Great.
soon? Because I was not able to go to the hop picking, but I really wanted to. You
Yeah,
going
I mean
back
next
anytime
year.
soon?
I think next year is going to be. I mean the hops are picked clean right now. You won't be able to get anything, but next year I think it'll be a much more lively event.
I definitely want to go to
Fingers
that.
crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Really.
So you can get. Oh, thank you, Ming. Put up the select locations where you can
Oh,
find
sweet.
their Oktoberfest beer. I
Yeah.
think Will, you said before we started that you just restocked, right?
Yeah, it's very tough, like trying to get our availability of our beers out because we don't have a tasting room. Like, we're a gypsy brewery, and for those who don't know what a gypsy brewery is, it's a brewery that doesn't have their own brewery yet. Like, we actually use someone else's place to make our beer,
Yeah.
and we cannot sell it directly to the public, so we have to go through bars, restaurants,
Right.
and liquor stores. And it's very tough because people message me all the time and say, hey, is this beer here? Is this beer there? Where's it going to be? And there's no real way to know in real time where it's going to be. If I drop a case of beer off and they sell it in an hour,
Yeah.
I might think it's there, but it might not be there anymore. So it's been a little bit of a challenge trying to let people know where it is. But Rocktoberfest was just restocked. It's still fresh as can be, and that list should be up to date.
Do you guys have plans to open your own tap room?
Yeah,
or-
we're working on it.
Yeah?
We actually have a location in mind in Highlands, right on Bay Ave.
Nice.
Yeah, it's still going to be a year plus away. It's going to
Yeah.
take a long time, and it's going to take a lot of money to do. But that's our home.
That's
We're not taking no. We're going to do it.
That's
I don't care how I have
awesome.
to get the money. We're going to do it.
Yeah, I'll be there. I will be there. That's for sure. So the other thing we should talk about too with the Rocktoberfest beer is the Scan and Jam. My label's upside down, but
Yes. And there is a reason why. Do you know why it's upside down?
no.
So there's a very specific reason why the label's upside down. So when you can beer coming off of the canning line, the first case and the last case that come off the line, you don't want to sell that because there could be possibly some residue because it's the first beer coming off
Okay.
the line. There could be some yeast sediment or some hop sediment in there, and the first one and the last one. So we don't accidentally sell it. We put the labels on upside down.
Smart.
That makes a lot of sense. I just assumed this was just like
A whoopsie.
an error.
Yeah.
No. Well, it is. It's a
These are the
purpose
rejects.
whoopsie. It's a purposeful whoopsie. So we go, oh, this is what we drink. We don't sell this, but that's why that is like.
That's awesome.
But yeah, the Scan and Jam is pretty sweet, man. As far as I know, we're the only brewery that does it frequently. We were not the first one to ever do it. I can't
Right.
take credit for that, but I don't think anybody else does it to the extent we do. And it was just on a limited release. Once we burn through the thousands of dollars of labels we've purchased for the lager and the double vision, it will be on our flagships as well. And
That's
we're gonna have a playlist
awesome.
for every beer we come out with. And Rocktoberfest was cool because we had a lot of local artists,
Yeah, that was the
featured on it.
exciting thing for me about Rocktoberfest because, as a musician and have been playing in Asbury Park for my entire life, having the local artist be a part of the
Yeah.
Scan and Jam was the coolest thing. And we at the local Fix as a whole, we reached out to a bunch of artists, and they were all all about it. They were so on board for being a part of this and putting their names on the Scan and Jam, having their names as part of the playlist. Like some of my favorite bands, like Dark City Strings is on there, the Mother Leeds band, Natalie Farrell is on there. Like just really awesome bands. And the coolest thing for me, I don't know if you've seen this, but I'm loving how some of these local artists are reposting and tagging everything with the beer, like scan us, jam, blah blah blah. It's so awesome.
Who would have known? You put local artists on your beer, they go out and buy it. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty cool. Yeah, like a bunch of people went out and bought it, and said they liked it and reposted it, and that's not why we did it. Like
no, of course, yeah,
but it's great. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's part of the foundation. It's part of being, what we're about. Local bands, local businesses, part of the community, and this is, at the end of the day, it's not just the businesses. It's people like these bands, like these artists. They're all part of the community, And for me, I mean, I can't wait till I can. I know they're in New Jersey. We're allowing small people back in venues and whatnot, but like I've only seen like a handful of live music since March, and it's
it's tough.
Utterly killing me. I can't wait to get back into I can't wait to be packed asshole to elbow to people in the Saint, just sweaty, drinking beer.
No, never did I think I'd miss a mosh pit like I do now.
Right? You never really think about it until it's like gone. I mean, it's just it's
you can say it for anything in life too.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yep.
Very, very true. Oh my God. So again, don't forget about Rocktoberfest. We should talk about the pop-up, I guess, right?
Yeah.
While we're here.
Yeah, you're coming, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So one of our, and this was totally impromptu, one of our accounts that we sell beer to is Delvetto's Pizza in Neptune. Young guys, really cool. Similar story to us. They were like, they have a pizzeria, but they acquired a liquor license, and they were like trying to open a bar up right as COVID hit, and obviously put a kibosh on that. But like everybody else, the town gave them permission to use their parking lot and serve in it. So they actually have a giant gated area fenced in on the side of their place with and it's pretty socially distant. Like they have like probably 20 picnic tables, but they're all well over 6 feet apart from one another.
That's
and
great.
We did a tasting there a few months back with a band called Rising Falls, and they're going to come play again. And we're going to do it a second time around. And they said they specifically, when I sold him the Rocktoberfest beer, he was the only one of everybody that was like, tell me more about, like, what is this? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I told him it was for charity and how we had a music fest last year, and we wanted to do it this year, but we couldn't because of COVID. And we just didn't have the time to plan it with all the safety. And he said, listen, I can do something here small. Let's do it. Let's just do it. So that's why we're doing it. And it's gonna be a good time.
That's so huge, because I personally was, I mean, obviously circumstances, but I was heartbroken that we couldn't do like a real Rocktoberfest, but having them come out at Delvetto's and offer that was very exciting.
Yeah, is it gonna be as legendary and as big as we would hope it to be? No, but I think it's gonna be great, and there's always next year.
There's always
and we have
next
some
year.
I'm not gonna spill the beans, but we have some really big plans for the Rocktoberfest next year.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be some real shit next year.
Real
that's
shit,
for
like
sure.
like next level. Like you're gonna be like, what?
So our Rocktoberfest pop-up will be next Saturday,
7th.
November 7th, at Delvetto's in Neptune City, starting at 1 o'clock, going till 5, I believe.
5-ish, whenever we
5-ish,
trickle
right?
out, whenever everybody wants to leave.
Depending on how many beers we have. Ming will be there from A Shared Universe with us when we podcasting live. Dina, feel free to join us again. That'll be your second podcast, because this is your first podcast
This is my
ever,
first
right?
podcast,
How's it going so far?
It's great. It's exciting.
Now you're gonna start your own podcast.
It's always
Yeah,
better. It's
right.
always like takes the edge off when you can have a couple beers while you're
So we were talking about this before you were here. I was like, you can't do. I haven't done a podcast ever, and I've done several at this point without alcohol. You just need alcohol. And
I was like,
Dina,
no, I'm good with my water. And then we're getting started, and
I
I'm like,
show
I'll
up.
have.
I was, for those of you who are listening, I was a little tardy to the starting of this, so I had to bring some gifts to,
Dina said when she walked in, she was like, I was afraid if I walked in with alcohol,
Yeah,
that
I was
look
gonna
like
bring.
an
I was gonna
alcoholic.
bring my beers.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I was like, no, we'd look at
I
you
know
funny
next
if you
time.
walked in without
Yeah.
beer. Like, come on, that's
I
like
know that next
podcasting
time.
101. But so next Saturday, 1 o'clock, Delvetto's. If you want to, you'll need to register in advance. It's free, obviously. If you want to register, there's an Eventbrite link out there. You can find it either on the Local Fix Foundation website, or you can check out our Instagram page, I think it's just at NJ Local Fix, I believe.
Yeah.
On the Facebook page.
You don't need to register, but
Right.
it's like the nice thing to do.
It's the nice thing to do.
It's like you don't show up at a wedding without ours.
give
You'd
us
be
a
like,
heads up.
let us
Yeah.
know you're coming, so we know how many people.
Yeah, we're not going to have a bouncer outside
No.
Delvetto's. Like, excuse me, you're on the list?
Yeah.
No, I
No,
don't
you
think
can
so.
definitely, if you just decide the morning of that you want to come, you can definitely come.
So Dina, back to Kinetric. I'm just curious, what's if there is, if you feel like sharing. What's next for Kinetric Wellness aside from the virtual couples?
I mean, honestly, that's a kind of a really big overtaking. I think that the couples thing is going to be a lot bigger than I anticipated. The idea of creating a foundation for couples that's rooted in wellness is what I'm striving for now. Talking to different couples and working with different couples, I've learned so much. And being a part of a couple myself, when we've been dating, we've been together about 8 years and married for 4 now. We just celebrated our 4-year wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And, there's so many dynamics, and we have a lot of friends that, are married or living together, and just like talking to other couples about the different issues that you can have, or, obviously the positive things. But I just think that there's so much out there that you can do to better your relationship instead of just going to therapy as a couple. And why that's not, if that's something that both of you or one of you is not willing to do, there's so many other things, there's so many other resources. Why don't we try all those things? So finding ways and times to connect, and finding other people, wellness practitioners that can kind of give you a heads up on what to do mentally, physically, spiritually, so that you can connect with yourself first, and then be able to have that strong foundation for your partner.
Yeah, not knocking therapy, but it's a lot easier to say, hey, do you want to do this couples workshop where we can actually learn how to massage each other? Then we need to go to a therapist and talk about our problems.
Oh my God. It's so funny that you say that, because I will never forget this. I vividly remember one day I was just at home, and I had the TV on, and I forget what I was watching, but I stopped watching, I was doing other stuff, and it bled into garbage daytime TV, and Dr. Phil was one of the people that came on, and just that guy is just the worst. Just
a classic.
There was a couple on his episode, and they were they're having problems whatever, and I'll just never forget the wife sits there, and he's like, so what's the problem? And the Dr. Phil voice, and she goes, well, he just doesn't listen to me. And then Dr. Phil looks at the guy, goes, have you tried listening to your wife? And I'm just like,
This
oh my God! I had no idea. Brilliant. Why didn't I think of that?
And how much do you think he's gotten paid per hour to say that to somebody?
Right? Oh my God! When people tell me those kind of things, I'm sure it's working for you, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Oh man! Well, that's awesome. I think that I'm actually going to do this thing because I want to just learn how to actually do the massaging part. I have my wife and we don't have any communication issues. I don't listen to her half the time, so I'm just kidding. But I do want to know, I try to do the massaging, but I'm not very good at it, and I want to learn how to do it.
Well, the biggest thing is that people think that you need all of this stuff in order to be ready to massage somebody,
right,
and really just starting with a simple foundation of stretching and accountability and that communication is big. So I'm not even releasing the second part of my course until months later.
Oh, it's a 2-parter.
Yeah, because I want people to know that foundation first, to just have something approachable, that instead of oh, I have to go grab the lotion, and oh, I have to go, I have to get naked on the bed. You don't have to do any of that. You can be in your pajamas. You can be sitting on your couch.
Yeah.
You can be, sitting next to each other working. If you're both working from home, or one of you is working from home,
now,
there's some desk exercises that you can do. That's actually accessible to you right now if you go on the website. So it's little things like that are going to make the bigger difference in the long run. And then we'll go kind of dig deeper into working on the knots and the, what everybody else is like.
I like that.
I want her to dig an elbow in my shoulder blade. And I'm like, that's for your massage therapist, but I'm going to show you what you can do at home.
That's awesome.
I would just like the record to state that I personally think that massages are better when you're naked, but hey.
Oh, I go naked every time.
Well, I mean, I'm going to teach the class, obviously, on somebody who's fully clothed.
And you guys can do whatever you want.
You guys can do what you want, which is the benefit of bringing it to a virtual space. Hey.
No, clothing is optional.
Right.
Not when you come in to see her in person. You have to put your clothes on.
It took me a while to get used to that because my friend that I was mentioning before that has her own business, and she comes to my house to do me all the time. And she said to me the one time, she's like, you should really go naked. I was like, excuse me? And it's like one of my good friends.
Your friend comes to your house to do you all the time, and she suggests that you should come naked. Hey, man.
Removing that from the context
man.
of this conversation.
Are we going to
We're in
strike that
trouble.
from the record here? Or?
Yeah.
No, rule number one of any podcast that I do is nothing is stricken from the record.
Fair enough.
All of my other podcasts, the friends that I have on them, they constantly say, "Oh no, we can just edit this out later." I'm like, no, I'm keeping this in because if you sound like an idiot, it's staying in. If I sound like an idiot, it's also staying
set
in.
in
Like,
stone.
yeah, there's no fancy editing here. I'll put some intro music. I'll cut out the awkward silences to make it flow better. But if you say something dumb, it's staying in the podcast.
Fair enough.
It's not going anywhere.
You said it.
Fair enough.
Well, this has been fantastic. Dina, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
talking
me.
about your
This is
journey and
great.
your business. Yeah, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you for being a partner for Oktoberfest. Very
Always.
much looking forward to seeing you at the pop-up. You were at the beach clean as well, right?
Yes.
Thank you for that as well. So.
Yeah, that was, I'm not going to lie to you, if I can talk about this for a minute.
Yeah, of course.
That really, really opened my eyes a lot. I try and make changes all the time to be more sustainable, but I was like angry after that.
Yeah.
It really upset me. It aggravated me. And I actually started a thing on my Instagram, my Kinetric Wellness Instagram, called Sustainable Saturdays, where I'm teaching people how to just make quick, easy swaps.
Awesome.
So just little things here and there. And how to change your toothbrush out, what kind of toilet paper to use instead, and like talking about bidets. And, you know, people are going to be really turned off by all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm not here for them. I'm here for the people that actually want to create change in this world and, you know, don't really know how to do it. And I think that that's the biggest thing, is that everyone's really overwhelmed with all the change that needs to happen. But if you just make one tiny
Start
change, just one change, and then once you get used to that change, it's easy for you, then you can add a second change. If you can't do it, that's also okay, but just be consistent with that change.
And the funny
and
thing
make
about
better
that,
choices.
the funny thing about that is that there are so many things that we're just so wired to do that when you just take a second to think about it, you realize you don't need to do it. So like I went through and removed all single-use plastics from my life basically last year. And like, you know, doing things like water bottles. That's easy. Just buy a freaking container.
Yeah, I'm not
going to
lie to you. It kills me to drink from this.
Well, yeah,
I'm so thirsty.
That's totally
that
fine. I'm not going to hold it against you.
But
Nobody's
it's-
perfect.
But it's one of those things where you're like so used to bringing your water bottle along,
Yeah.
and
I
then
think
you
that
forget,
was-
and you're like,
I think it was like one of the number one things we found on the beach was the water bottles.
Water bottles, yeah.
Not the water bottles,
caps.
the caps.
The caps, yeah.
Because they're not recyclable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the water bottle itself is recyclable, but the caps like really aren't.
The
And
caps
it's
are
like, it's
not,
like the
yep.
same thing like when you have a jar of like, you know, like let's say you buy like a marinara sauce. The cap isn't really recyclable. So it's like you don't really realize like
if you read
not
the
everything is.
labels on everything, it tells you remove the label and recycle, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yep,
how
exactly.
many of these
And
labels
rinse
have
out
gone
the
into
jar,
We
recycling?
can
yeah.
go down that recycling
Yeah.
rabbit hole. I
Yeah,
still have my
exactly.
roommates that throw pizza boxes in the recycling, and
I
I'm
know.
like, guys, they're not recyclable.
But here's the bigger issue: why not, and how can we change it to
Right.
happen? Because there's
Yep.
millions of these boxes going out every week,
Yeah.
Yep.
and they're not being recycled.
and one pizza box in your recycling will degrade your
Yeah.
Yeah,
entire
it
the
ruins
entire-
the whole
ruins the
thing.
whole
Yeah,
batch.
ruins the whole thing.
Yeah.
it is kind of no, you're right.
Yeah.
I
And-
went down a dark rabbit hole for sure after that.
Oh, I
And
totally did
I
too.
think
Yeah.
everybody really needs to be a part of a beach clean once in your life. I think it really helps to open your eyes and makes
Yes.
Yeah,
you
just
more
to see the
aware.
shit
And come to,
that's
and
there.
come to
And
the
come to
local
the-
fix
yeah,
and sweep
local
the
fix,
shore
yeah.
next year.
That is right.
Perfect time to get
Yeah.
involved.
And some of the changes are so simple to make. Like, you know,
So
like
easy.
just plastic wrap as an example, right? In your house, like saran wrap. You know, we wrap all this shit in saran wrap because we think we need to. Half the stuff that you're covering in saran wrap or putting in Ziploc bags to store in your refrigerator, you don't need to do that. I used to, like, back in the day, if I, you know, had an onion I was chopping for what I was cooking, 'cause I cook all the time, you know, I would wrap the remaining half of the onion in plastic. That's what I had to
Or
do.
put
But
it in a Ziploc
in a Ziploc
bag.
bag, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? You don't need to do that. Just throw it in your refrigerator. It'll last just as long. The freaking plastic is completely useless. You don't need any of that.
True.
And also, by the way, marinara sauce in a jar, bro, make your own. Come on.
Hey, listen, I'm not. Contrary to popular belief, I have 0% Italian in me, man. I've never made Sunday sauce in my life. If you want to teach me,
Yeah, come over to the estate on Sunday.
All right,
I'll
all
make
right,
Sunday
all right,
sauce
fair
every weekend.
fair enough. Cheers.
Oh man, so this has been amazing. Again, thank you, Dina, for joining. Thank you, Will,
Thank
again as
you.
always, for being the co-host, bringing
you
the
for
beer.
having us.
Yes.
I love it. We'll see everybody, or some of you at least, next Saturday, November 7th, 1 o'clock at Del Vetto's. Rocktoberfeast, Local Fix Foundation, pop-up. If you again, don't forget to check out our Instagram page and our website so you can see where all of our Rocktoberfeast food donation drop-off boxes are.
And bring non-perishables.
Bring non-perishables.
To the pop-up.
Also
bring
true.
whatever you have. Clean out your cabinets.
Bring it all. We will have some other guests on the podcast very soon that we're partnering with, like people from Fulfill, some of the local bands, other local business partners.